All right, here is a way to make your power supply hot for your F-250. I've got an F-250 Ford diesel platinum, and I got frustrated because the power outlets, the cigarette lighters, they never stayed hot. And so sometimes I want to leave them and keep them hot to charge my phone when my motor's turned off and things like that, and I'm not in the truck. And so I thought, man, how could I make these things hot? So here's the plan. If you found that frustration, follow me, follow these directions, and you'll find an easy way to make your Ford F-250 cigarette lighters hot. And now, I didn't make them hot all the time. I made them hot according to my auxiliary switches. Up here on the panel, I'm not sure if you can see that or not, there's auxiliary switches. Two of those auxiliary switches, 5 and 6, are the possibility of keeping those hot at all times. Even when your key is off or when your power's off, you have access to making these hot. You do that by switching in your circuit, your fuse box under the hood. You'll see a place for your auxiliary switches. Now, what I did, I got underneath there where there's wires. You could look on other YouTube videos and see where you can get underneath the auxiliary switch junction fuses and relays. Underneath it, there's a bunch of stubbed out wires. Now, if you look closely, I brought out my 40 amp, one of my 40 amp switches that gives you the potential to have hot all the time. I switched the little 5 amp fuse over to the legs in the auxiliary panel here that enables this fuse or this 40 amp circuit to be hot at all times. 40 amp circuit's too hot for my cigarette lighter. So what I'm doing, I'm running it from this 40 amp circuit over here with this wire. I'm going to run it through with this wire right here. I'm going to run it through the seal for the hood, all the way through the seal for the hood to this fuse box right there. Now, I just found out the one that the auxiliary outlet that I want to be hot at all times is the one in the center console. So I could put my phone in, flick the switch up on my auxiliary switches, my Upfitter switches, flip that one on, and it'll heat up the circuit so it'll be on 24/7 if I want it to be. So my phone could be charging or whatever I want access to, if whatever 12 volt outlet I want to be heated up. So I pulled off my lid of my fuse panel, or my fuse box rather, that's right here. I found out that the one I want to heat up was number 68 in my Ford owner's manual. So fuse number 68 takes me to the driver's side auxiliary box cigarette lighter. So I'm running that wire that I just showed you the other end of all the way through this seal here, popping out here. And what I've done, I've taken one of my fuses, because this number 68 here has a hot feed coming into it when the key's on, and the circuit continues and completes there and goes all the way out to the cigarette lighter. I've broken one leg off on my fuse that I took out of that number 68. So when I broke one of the fuse legs off, it disabled it, so I'm not going to have hot coming in. Now I've just taken this wire, I've remanufactured that fuse block right here where it would, I've stripped the wire, stuck it down through one side, broken the metal out of the other side so I don't have any possibility for a short. And when I plug this into the hot side, now the hot side is the side closest to the motor of that leg right here on fuse number 68. I don't want it on the hot side. I want it on the side that goes to the cigarette lighter. So the way I determined that, I turned the motor on and tested the legs on each one of those fuse, where the fuse comes in. I tested each leg. The leg closest to the motor is the hot. So I broke the piece off, so I have no way of shorting it out. And now I'm bringing this wire to the cold side of that, so it'll continue on to my cigarette lighter, and I'm getting my power from my 40 amp switch over there. Now back to where we started, the auxiliary side, or for the upfitter switches. In here for this upfitter switch is a 40 amp fuse. I don't want that big a fuse because I don't want it to be overheating my wires. Okay, here's what it looks like whenever you have your little fuse block broken off. You see how I broke the one tab off so it doesn't conduct electricity. Now you see that little clear piece of tubing I've got there? I put that over the male probe that comes up into that broken fuse. The left side, or the side furthest away from the motor, is the cold side that leads to the auxiliary. The hot side, I've now put a little piece, it's just like an 1/8 inch piece of clear tubing that I put over the leg to make double sure that there's not a short that takes place in there. I'm going to cut that little piece of tubing off here in a second down to about the height of the top of the fuse, but I just wanted to show that to you so you get an idea of what I'm doing to make sure that we don't have any fuses. Now, and then when I get that fuse cut off, or that tube cut off, I'm going to put a little bit of clear silicone, pack that thing full of clear silicone to help keep things from vibrating around, and also to help make sure no moisture gets in there. Now, I run into a problem that I wasn't thinking about earlier, and it's how do I get my wire out of my fuse box? At this stage, I thought about drilling a little hole back there, but just in case, I don't want to mess with my warranty, and so drilling a hole they might not look favorably on. And if something ever came down, I just pull the fuse out and put the old one back in. But I'm going to just run the wire that I'm coming out of here along the top of the box and pop out here up near the front where there's a little cutout on my fuse cover panel, which is right here. The fuse cover panel has a little piece right here that doesn't have a big flap on it, so I'm hoping that my wire will be able to fold out over the top and just compress it, and I'll still have a good watertight seal, but I won't have a thing with it that could cause me a problem with my warranty. So there we are. That's that piece. If you notice, I did take out fuse number I think it was 88 straight across from the one I'm working on right now. It's a little 10 amp fuse. I took that one out because I couldn't get my 20 amp fuse that I broke and took the leg off of. I couldn't get it out without removing the little one, so I'm putting that one back as soon as I get done with this. So anyways, there's some more update. Okay, here's the final product. Pretty much done. I'm going to start from the beginning over here. Start on my upfitter switch. I pulled that upfitter switch down from underneath. I'm going to tape that up, watertight that. I just want to let you see how I did that. It's a 40 amp wire coming out of there, so I'm reducing the fuse size on the inside of this. On the inside of this, under this panel here, there's a bunch of fuses and relays. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce that fuse size down to 10 or maybe 20 amps. There's no reason for it to be overfused with 40 amps. That's for like running snow plows or things like that. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to reduce my fuse size so I keep my circuitry safe and the wire size safe by lowering it down, fuse in that particular fuse socket. And then hopefully when I flip the switch, inside my outfitter switch, that cigarette lighter will come on and I'll have my problem solved. I'll be able to charge my phone or run a 12 volt cigarette lighter outlet without having to have the motor on. I ran it up here all the way up underneath that hood seal, ran it all the way down the tube, all the way across the motor, came out down here with the out of this side, ran it down, put a couple of little fasteners, ran underneath the rubber boot, down into my cover. I'm just going to try to make it work where the cover shuts over the top of this wire so I don't drill a hole in the cover and Ford someday say, oh, you let moisture into your fuse panel and therefore you are, you know, out of luck. So that's the project. Now I already tested it. Go into my upfitter switch. Hit my upfitter switch on now that it's powered on all the time. I've got full power to it with the keys off and everything. And so I just hit the switch on and it turns on my power outlet right there. Job complete. Which, sorry man, this is not scripted. I'm just coming off the top of my head and trying to help somebody that might have the same problem that I did. I looked all over YouTube trying to find it. There wasn't any there. And so now there's one there. And ideally it's going to cause my Ford F-250 Super Duty Platinum to be tricked out beyond measure. All right, thanks for watching. Hope it helps.